Hello, and welcome to 5 Steps to Better Sleep, Day 1. This is the first day of a 5-day Facebook experience, and I'd like to introduce myself to you. I'm Dr. Stephanie Stanfield, and I have a PhD in energy medicine and a doctorate of theology in spiritual counseling. I'd like to put my degrees to work for us together in this program so that we get as much benefit as possible, and each and every one of us starts sleeping better. What are we going to do in this experience? I'll give you a brief overview and then we'll just dive right in. Let's get started. Hopefully tonight you can start sleeping better. The 4 self-healing skills and a bonus skill. We don't know when this bonus skill is coming in, so make sure that you listen to each day and you get as much as you can from the program. The 4 self-healing skills include belly breathing, water, awareness, present moment, and that bonus skill. The first of the 4 self-healing skills is belly breathing. And I'm going to get you started with belly breathing because this is one of the most important ones. We breathe all day, every day. But if we're not breathing in the optimal way for us, we can actually be sabotaging our health and our sleep. Why is it the first skill in a better sleep program? Belly breathing means that you use your diaphragm muscle. The diaphragm muscle sits under your lungs. And when you contract the diaphragm down, it pulls this richly oxygenated air deeply into your lungs. And the highest concentration of capillaries for oxygenating your body is in the lower portion of your lungs. However, if the air sits down there for very long, it gets deoxygenated pretty quickly. And after a while, your body becomes starved for oxygen. So by expanding your belly out and contracting your diaphragm down, you get as much air in the lungs as possible. Then when you contract the diaphragm up, you push the air out of your lungs, and this depleted air leaves so that you can bring in more richly oxygenated air. It also provides a nice little massage for your abdomen and the organs that sit down there. That's why belly breathing is so good for you in a mechanical, physiological type of way. And if you're not breathing properly, you can actually impair your sleep. Let me introduce you to your nervous system. I'd like to introduce mind-body to your nervous system. And most of us are aware we actually have 3 nervous systems. We have the central nervous system, which is the brain and the spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system, which are the nerves that come out of the spinal cord. And this peripheral nervous system has 2 branches. It has what's known as the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. And I use the term mind-body here, but I mostly think of it as mind-body spirit. Mind-body is very influential in the quality and the quantity of sleep that you have. But let's come back to the nervous system for a minute. I mentioned the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is the well-known fight, flight, or freeze nervous system. We'll talk a little bit more about this throughout the program because if you're trying to sleep in the sympathetic nervous system, you do not sleep well. The parasympathetic nervous system is relaxation and restoration. The sympathetic nervous system, you don't have any choices. Your basic choices are fight, flight, or freeze. You don't cope, you don't manage, you don't work well with. It's no choice. All you got. Fight, flight, or freeze. Parasympathetic nervous system implies that you have more choices. A sympathetic nervous system, the chemicals, the hormones, the molecules of emotion, the informational substances, the peptides, and all of those are bent on destruction and protection. The sympathetic nervous system, you have creativity, you have openness, you have growth. The sympathetic nervous system is protection and constriction. This is where you get things small enough so that you feel like you can manage them. And this is where you might be making a mistake with your sleep. We'll talk about that a little bit later on this week. Parasympathetic nervous system, growth and expansion. The emotion of the sympathetic nervous system is fear and all of the wonderful qualities. So worries, guilt, shame, grief, anger, all of those are emotions of the sympathetic nervous system. The emotions of the parasympathetic nervous system are love, bliss, joy, happiness, courage, strength, and many others. quality of the sympathetic nervous system is surviving. It wants to keep you alive, even if it kills you in the process. This is one of those points where if you're trying to sleep in the sympathetic nervous system, you have a high startle reflex and you don't actually get into the deeply restorative sleep that you get in the parasympathetic nervous system and thriving. You thrive in the parasympathetic nervous system. Things are not a competition, they are a collaboration. Sympathetic nervous system is reactive. It's habits. It is using the least amount of energy to get done what you need to get done, but in very negative feedback loop ways. Parasympathetic nervous system is responsive, and it is designed to have you be creative, have choices, grow and expand, love and thrive. Ask yourself a question. Which of your nervous systems is active when you are trying to go to sleep? And I use the word trying there very consciously. That's a conscious choice of a word. If you are going to sleep, then you're probably parasympathetic. If you are trying, struggling, not achieving it, then you're probably sympathetic. Remember those qualities. We'll refer to these throughout the program. How do you shift from the activity of one of your nervous systems into the other? In other words, shift out of sympathetic activity into parasympathetic activity? If you said belly breathing, you are right. Let's do an energetic perspective on another great value of belly breathing. Imagine that you have $100 worth of energetic currency given to you each and every day. Now imagine that you take away $30 of that bill. We'll talk about that later on this week. Where does that $30 go? What do you use it to do? But when you're highly sympathetic, it costs your energetic currency and it depletes you so that sometimes, even by the time you get out of your bed, you're exhausted, you're fatigued, you don't know how you're going to make it through the day, your brain isn't functioning well. This is because maybe you have been robbing that $100 of energetic currency for so long that you don't even start with $100 anymore. But that's the story for another lesson as well. When you are highly sympathetic, it costs you this energetic currency and it lowers your energetic vibration. It actually takes more energy to accomplish less. When you are not sleeping well, when you are not belly breathing, when you are not healing yourself, and you are spending your energetic currency staying highly, highly, highly sympathetic. When you are parasympathetic, it pays you energetic currency and it actually raises your vibration. Another interesting thing to consider is that your nervous system does what you ask it to do. So if you are asking it to be tired and exhausted because you're telling yourself you don't sleep well, you don't know how to sleep well, you never get a good night's sleep, your nervous system responds to that. And it lowers your vibration lower and lower and lower every time you think that thought. Let's review some key points. Your nervous system does what you ask it to do. You cannot sleep well when you are in the activity of the sympathetic nervous system. Belly breathing can shift you from the activity of the sympathetic nervous system into the activity of the parasympathetic nervous system. Each time I'm going to ask you to do some action steps. This again is a part of the self-healing skills that you're learning and implementing every day. Practice belly breathing throughout the day as many times as possible. Sometimes it's easier to make and post belly breathing signs where you will see them as reminders. Become aware of how you feel when you're belly breathing and expand on that feeling. You're banking energetic bucks when you do that. That's it for today. Thank you so much, and I hope you sleep well tonight. Let's practice a little bit of belly breathing. If this is your first time, I'll go through an explanation of what you should be feeling and what's going on. So take a minute and notice how you're feeling right now. When we are belly breathing, we are going to breathe in through our nose and out through our nose. We're going to do a slow count, pause, and another slow count. When you breathe in, your stomach should expand outward, Your chest and shoulders should stay pretty still. And when you breathe out, your stomach should contract in, and this pushes the diaphragm back up into the lungs, expelling the air completely from your lungs. You will breathe in to the count of 4, pause, and out to the count of 6. Pause. Let's do 5 belly breaths, keeping your shoulders still, keeping a straight back, and relaxing as you're doing this. If you've ever watched a baby breathe, you should know how to belly breathe because babies begin life belly breathing. Let's begin. Breathe in to the count of 4, 2, 3, 4, and out to the count of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause into the count of 4, 3, 4, and out to the count of 6, letting your belly come in. 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, expanding your belly out. 3, 4. And exhale, expanding your belly in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Contracting your belly in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Expand your belly out. 2, 3, 4. And contract your belly in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in through your nose. 2, 3, 4. Allows the best volume of air at the best pressure. 5 and 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Contracting your belly in. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice how you're feeling. Notice what's going on. Do this as many times throughout the day. I do it in the shower, when I'm eating. I do it at stop signs. I do it throughout the day as much as possible, knowing that I'm banking energetic bucks.